that we always talk about how it's the white man that we should fear, but who is it that's really doing all the violence here to our people, right? Let's talk about this. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome you to the AFC, where we advocate for children first, we advocate for families, we advocate for fathers, and we advocate for black people rising above our circumstances, right? And what you have going on here is what seemed to be a fairy tale story of a family whose empire was seeming to grow exponentially. They were doing a lot of awesome things, making a lot of money, and then things start to fall apart. And you know what they say? They say that money is the ruler of all evil, when it's actually the love of money is the ruler of all evil. So it's a little bit different than what most people might have thought was correct, right? So what I'm going to talk about here is these individuals in this story. It's holistically crazy. I don't even know if that term goes right, but it sounded good. I'm going to say it anyway. This is out of Mississippi, okay? So Madison County, anybody who is familiar with Madison County, I need y'all to come to the front of the congregation, pull up a chair, kick back, and I need y'all to hear what I got to say about this story, okay? There is a man, let me see if I can get his name up, a face up on the screen. Not him. Skip past him. Skip past him for a moment. This individual's name is James Timothy Norman, or known as Timothy Norman, who is the owner of Sweetie Pie's restaurant in Jackson, Mississippi, and he has been arrested on federal charges and is being currently held in the Madison County Detention Center, according to the news. Hashtag not my words. Everything that I'm going to give you guys is exactly what they're going to use against them in court. So don't get mad at my words talking about DJ don't knows what he's talking about. He don't have the right information. He wasn't there. He don't know what's going on. Well, I'm just telling you what they're going to actually use against this man in court, okay? Now, Norman was charged with conspiracy to use interstate commerce facilities, a cell phone, and the commission of a murder for hire resulting in death. Damn. Murder for hire plot. What do y'all think about that? Murder for hire plot. How do we even get to this point? According to the complaint, Norman and a person by the name of Terica Ellis, let me see if I can get her face on here. I don't know if I have a picture of her or not. Let me scroll through here and see if I do. So you guys can take a look at this wonderful individual by the name of Terica Ellis. Let me see. I got a few pictures I got to swap through. While you guys are watching, please click that thumbs up. Share the stream. Let other people know that we are live talking about this. That is Terica Ellis. And she has a very interesting story as well as others who conspired to commit a murder for hire in exchange for money. Wow. Now, federal authorities allege that in 2014, that guy, Tim Norman, obtained a $450,000 life insurance policy on his 18-year-old nephew by the name of Andre Montgomery. Let me see if I can show you him. That, ladies and gentlemen, is Andre Montgomery. He was 18 years old. It seemed like he had his whole life ahead of him. You see, he had just graduated, right? So do people consider him to be a kid or not? I think it's still relevant because it was a young life that could have potentially grown up and became something great. Like he had opportunities there before him, and it seemed like he was robbed of those opportunities, okay? Now, this guy, Tim Norman, was the sole beneficiary of that $450,000 life insurance policy. But let that sink in for a moment. That's his nephew. I've always talked about people having life insurance policies, which is good, as opposed to depending on GoFundMe, depending on crowdfunding, right? I've always said that it's a good thing to have life insurance, but in this case, I'm going to tell you guys, it's a little bit weird the fact that he had a life insurance policy on his nephew. Do any of you guys think that that is weird? That's a weird tidbit of information. I think it's weird. Maybe nobody else thinks it's weird. Why wouldn't his mother and father have a life insurance policy on him? Maybe his wife. I guess he's too young to be married. So let's just say his mom and dad. Where the hell are they at? It just seems weird that Tim Norman would put a life insurance policy on him. But let's tell more of this story. In the days leading up to Andre Montgomery's murder, Ellis, who is Terica Ellis, which is the woman. Let me see if I can back that up so y'all can see her face again. Let's see here. That woman on the right-hand side of the screen, that is Terica Ellis. In the days leading up to Andre Montgomery's murder, Terica Ellis told Montgomery that she was coming to St. Louis. And on March 13th of 2016, the day before Montgomery's murder, Norman flew to St. Louis, Missouri, from his home in Los Angeles. And on March the 14th of 2016, which was a day later, Ellis and Norman, Terica Ellis and Tim Norman, communicated using temporary phones activated that day. Let me say that again. And I'm going to back these pictures up. These two people, one day later, used temporary cell phones. They activated temporary cell phones. How many of you guys think that's also indicative of somebody who potentially was guilty? I do. Right? Said his dad is deceased. He died before Andre turned 2. Okay. Thank you for that information. That's why we got the live chat. We are live, so y'all click that thumbs up. And if you guys got information to contribute, if y'all know about this story, please post it in the chat. That's what the chat is for, right? They activated temporary cell phones to communicate with each other. Ellis also used his temporary phone to communicate with Andre Montgomery, his nephew, which is that guy. He used that phone to contact him to learn of where he was located, where his location was. Immediately after learning Montgomery's location, Ellis placed a call to Norman. Around 8 p.m. that same day, Montgomery was shot and killed. How about that? As you guys can see, his gravestone. That is so sad. The same day, he was shot and killed. Now, Ellis's phone location information places her in the area of the murder at the time of the shooting. Wow. How about that? How about technology? Throwaway phones. Thank you. Yes, that's exactly right. In urban terminology, we call that throwaway phones. And her location was pinged where he was shot and killed. You see, they had Crime Stoppers up. They had all of this information they were trying to take in, tipped, to go out and investigate this murder. And it seems that his own family member was the one who tried to murder him. That's so funny how they try to make it seem like this is like a random thing. And his own family, like they're doing like what do we call that? Like a wild goose chase or ghost hunting. You're out looking for this phantom person who supposedly committed this murder when the person who did it was the person who was closest to that guy right there, who was closest to Andre Montgomery, which was Tim Norman's nephew. That's crazy. But let's keep going. Let's keep going. Immediately following Andre Montgomery's murder, Terica Ellis placed a phone call to Andre Norman and then began Tim Norman. Let me say that again. Immediately following Montgomery's murder, Terica Ellis placed the call to Tim Norman and then began traveling to Memphis. In the days after the murder, Terica Ellis deposited over $9,000 in cash into various bank accounts. She deposited $9,000 in cash into various bank accounts. And on March 21st of 2016, Tim Norman contacted the life insurance company in an attempt to collect on the life insurance policy he had obtained on his nephew. How ironic is that? Doesn't sound very random to me. Terica Ellis was also charged by the complaint with conspiracy to use interstate commerce facilities in the commission of a murder for hire resulting in death. The St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department Homicide Section and Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, and are investigating these charges. Now, here's what I want to do before I show you guys the news videos, if you don't mind. Because people always tell me that I don't have my information correct. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm making up stuff. Well, how about this? Put the stream down. I'm not sure. What am I missing, Cherie? I'm sorry, sweetheart. If I'm missing something, Cherie, let me know. I can see you guys in the chat. We got 280 people watching. We need more people to click that thumbs up. If y'all would, we should easily have over 250 thumbs up. So just click that thumbs up. So to the people who are here, said, who died? I'm confused. Okay. The person in that graduation hat is the person who died. That guy. That is Andre Montgomery. He is the nephew of this guy who is Tim Norman. That is Tim Norman. James Timothy Norman is one of the owners of Sweetie Pies. That guy, based on what we see and based on the complaint, they're saying that he used temporary throwaway cell phones to communicate with gotta go so far back. That woman on the right hand side of the screen. Those two communicated. That woman using that cell phone, that throwaway cell phone, her location was pinged at the same place where that guy was murdered. Because all of them were communicating with each other. Hopefully everybody understands that. So here's the actual complaint from the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Missouri. So if you guys don't want to take my word for it, look it up. It's case number 420 MJ187DDN, the United States of America versus James Timothy Norman. I'm going to skip to the more important parts. And this is coming from Chris Faber, a special agent with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Now, as outlined herein, there exists probable cause to believe that James Timothy Norman, which is damn, these pictures, come on. That guy, that is James Timothy Norman, the owner of Sweetie Pies. It is believed that James Timothy Norman conspired with Terica Ellis, which is the woman I just told you guys about, and or others known and unknown to investigators at this time to use a facility of interstate commerce, namely a cellular telephone, to commit a murder for hire in exchange for United States currency, for money, which is Title 18, United States Code, Section 1958. In October of 2014, James Timothy Norman, or Tim Norman, attempted to obtain a $250,000 life insurance policy on his 18-year-old nephew, Andre Montgomery, for which Norman was the sole beneficiary through Americo Insurance Company. 2 weeks later, Norman, that guy, attempted to obtain a second life insurance policy on Andre Montgomery in the amount of $200,000. In addition to an accidental death rider in an amount of $250,000 through the insurance company. I'm not going to put the insurance company's name out there. The insurance company listed Norman as the sole beneficiary and Norman paid the monthly premiums directly from his checking account. In March of 2015, Norman attempted to obtain a replacement policy on Montgomery in the amount of $249,999, but the application was denied. That sounds like a persistent person, does it not? Hello, are y'all hearing me? This is from the FBI. He attempted to get a replacement policy of $249,999 on his own nephew, but the application was denied. The application for all these policies contained numerous false statements regarding Montgomery's income, occupation, and family history. On March 14th of 2016 at approximately 8:02 p.m., Andre Montgomery was killed by gunfire at 3964 Natural Bridge Avenue, which I'll show y'all that video here in a minute, where they walked that location, which is located in the city of St. Louis within the Eastern District of Missouri. And on March 10th of 2016, Montgomery received an email message from Terica Ellis, the woman who I showed y'all in the picture, advising him that I'm on my way in town. A search of that email account indicated that this email belongs to Terica Ellis, who is an exotic dancer residing in Memphis, Tennessee. Lord, where do we go wrong with black people? Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. Terica Ellis is an exotic dancer residing in Memphis, Tennessee, or Ratchet Town, USA. Isn't that what Tommy calls it? I could be wrong, but I think that's what he calls Memphis, Tennessee. What do y'all call Memphis, Tennessee? I don't know. I ain't never been there. I ain't got no plans to go in there. I'm just saying. She was an exotic dancer, a stripper, a whore, a slut. So yes, naturally you expect her to do something strange for a little piece of change, especially when you're talking about $9,000 to a chick who's in there probably stripping for tens and twenties of dollars at a time. Huh? On March the 13th of 2016, the day before Andre Montgomery's murder, Tim Norman flew from Los Angeles, California, where he lived, to St. Louis and arrived in St. Louis at 12:12 a.m. on the morning of March 14th of 2016, and or about March 13th of 2016, Terica Ellis posted on her Instagram account with the username Alexis the Great that she was in St. Louis and will return to Memphis on March 14th of 2016. So all of this is a paper trail. Shortly after 1 p.m. March 14th of 2016, in the area of the Chase Park Plaza, two temporary phone numbers subsequently identified as belonging to Terica Ellis and Tim Norman became active in the same geographic location as identified as belonging to Tim Norman. Do y'all want me to keep going? Y'all want me to keep going? Because I know this is getting crazy. I hope you guys are able to follow this. Terica, no, her name is Terica. Let me see if I can spell her name correctly for you. It is, let me see. Terica, Ellis, Ellis. Terica Ellis. That's her name. Or you could call her Terrible Ellis. I like that. Thank you, Jacqueline. I like that. That's what the live chat is for. Terrible Ellis. The first temporary phone activated near the Chase Park Plaza had the phone number, which I'm not going to read, and a second phone number, which they listed. I'm surprised they gave so much information that was so public. Okay. Both Terica Ellis phone number 1 and Tim Norman phone number 1 were activated the day of Andre Montgomery's homicide and deactivated the day after his homicide. All of this is showing is that they activated these phones. They ended up in the same location. They tried to raise the insurance policy. He was paying the policies. His nephew ended up dead. They shut the phones off the next day, and he went to go collect the insurance policy. I think that's pretty clear cut. That's a hell of a motive. I think that's pretty simple. That's the easiest way to describe it, but I'm just reading you guys what the actual FBI is accusing him of in specific details. Now, these phones communicated consistently throughout the day of the homicide, and both phones were deactivated and ceased activity on March 15th of 2016, the day after his nephew was murdered. Does that sound too coincidental? Andre Montgomery's cell phone or cellular telephone was located in close proximity to his body and was forensically examined following the murder. And witnesses at the scene of the homicide indicated that Andre Montgomery went outside to meet someone after receiving a telephone call and was shot and killed shortly after. The forensic examination of Montgomery's phone and the subsequent investigation revealed that the two people he had spoke with within the 10 minutes prior to his death were his friend KT and Terica Ellis, using the phone number that was listed in this document that I'm looking at. As further described herein, the information associated with Ellis's phone put the phone in the vicinity of the murder at the time the murder occurred. They also have text messages and a lot of other stuff, which I'm not going to go into. It's a whole lot. Okay? Damn, it is a whole lot. But let me go ahead and give you guys the fair usage. Let me show you guys the news videos. Let's go ahead and get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. And if you guys would, do me a favor and click that thumbs up. We should have about 300 thumbs up, but we are only at 169. All we need is just a few people to click the thumbs up. If you're listening, just click that thumbs up. It'll help us out a bit, okay? All right, let's get it.
A plot to kill to cash in on a life insurance policy. Good evening. I'm Samantha Jones.
I'm Steve Savard. Tonight's new details come from federal authorities. James Norman is charged in a murder-for-hire plot. The victim, his nephew, Andre Montgomery, was killed in March 2016 on Natural Bridge. He was the grandson of Miss Robbie, the original owner of Sweetie Pies. The restaurant and the family were the focus of a series on the Oprah Winfrey Network. News 4's Corey Stark is in the control room tonight. And Corey, this story is getting national attention.
Yeah, it sure is, Steve. And we have some of those details. The U.S. Attorney's Office says Montgomery's uncle, 41-year-old James Norman, was arrested this morning in Jackson, Mississippi for conspiring with another woman to have his nephew killed. Federal authorities say their murder-for-hire plan was all over a $450,000 life insurance policy. Our News 4 cameras were there in the late night hours of March 4, 2016 after Andre Montgomery was shot and killed inside a house on Natural Bridge. Andre had appeared several times on the St. Louis-based reality TV show Sweetie Pies. This video showing him graduate just a few years before he was killed. Now, 4 years after his murder, authorities still don't know who pulled the trigger, but say Montgomery's uncle, James Norman, and a woman were behind it all. Court documents show 2 years before the murder, Norman took out a $450,000 life insurance policy on his nephew, in which Norman was the only beneficiary. In the days leading up to the murder, Norman, who was living in L.A., began communicating with an exotic dancer by the name of Teresa Ellis, who lived in Memphis, Tennessee.
They both traveled to St. Louis, and on the day of the murder, prosecutors say Ellis contacted Montgomery to learn his exact location. After learning that information, she used a temporary phone to call Norman, and Montgomery was killed minutes later. Authorities say Ellis's phone location placed her in the area of the murder at the time of the homicide, and that she called Norman immediately after the murder took place and then left town. Soon after, Ellis deposited over $9,000 into bank accounts that previously had a negative balance. And a week after the murder, Norman contacted the life insurance company to collect on the $450,000 policy.
And court documents show that despite several attempts to collect the insurance money, Norman hasn't been able to do so because he's failed to submit proper documents. Norman does own a Sweetie Pies restaurant in Mississippi. Ellis also faces a conspiracy charge in connection with the murder. Corey Stark, News 4.
All right, let me ask you guys a question. There was somebody in the chat who said, and that is from, let me see. I can't pronounce your name. I don't want to mess your name up. But somebody said that Tim did 10 years in prison for robbery. Can anybody tell me if that's true or not? Biznarb said, how can you kill your brother's son? Here's my thing. I'm wondering, how can you even get a life insurance policy on your brother's son? How does that even work? How does that even work? How do you get a life insurance policy on your nephew? I'm just saying, and some of y'all are saying that he was greedy. What do you guys think about Tim Norman's personality? Do y'all think he's like a greedy dude? Do y'all think he's a bad, cold, heartless person? What do y'all think about him? Please tell me what y'all think about his character. Because like I said, I don't watch the show. I don't watch him to know what type of person he is. But I'm sure that some of y'all have watched that show, watched Sweetie Pies, watched it on the OWN network, which is owned by Oprah. Y'all tell me what y'all think about this dude. He killed his own, blood money, seriously. Killed his own nephew over $450,000. You're not gonna be in the free world long enough to spend it. I hope it was worth it. There's just no amount of money worth taking somebody's life over. I'm sorry, that's just cold, man. It's really cold.
News 4 is digging into the past of a reality TV star now facing charges in a murder-for-hire plot that targeted his own nephew. James Timothy Norman goes by Tim and is one of the stars of the St. Louis-based show Welcome to Sweetie Pies. News 4's Ray Preston spoke with a family friend today and joins us live tonight from Midtown.
Well, right now the restaurant is closed. It's only open Thursday through Sunday for curbside pickup. But we're told that Robbie Montgomery, she is Tim Norman's mother. She's the owner of Sweetie Pies and the matriarch of the family. We're told that
we have multiple people in the chat who are saying that when Tim Norman, James Timothy Norman, was 17 or 18 years old, he committed armed robbery and did 10 years in prison? But he gets a TV show. He's on the OWN network making plenty of money. Thank you, Barbie's World. I think he's a greedy bastard. That's what it sounds like. And you kill your nephew for less than $500,000? But you got, apparently he already had enough money to pay out this Terica Ellis chick $9,000 for her to come all the way from Memphis, Tennessee, in that ratchet ass strip club that she was at, to come collect $9,000 to come kill somebody. And now they're going to both be facing capital murder. That's just damn dumb. Let's keep going.
she has been traveling to Mississippi.
Thank you. Matter of fact, let me not say it. Let me not say it. Because it's funny how we are our own worst enemies. It seems like, and I want y'all to think about this. We're getting ready to lose not one, not two, not three, not four, but potentially 5 lives behind this case. Andre Montgomery is dead. That's one. what's this dude's name? James Timothy Norman is going to be number 2. He's going to be doing life in prison, if not the death penalty. Terica Ellis is going to be number 3. And whoever she was with is going to be 4 and 5. And they should be charged equally. They should all get capital murder. What do y'all think? 5 black people took each other out. How about that? Not one police officer killed him. Not one racist white person killed him. Not one freaking white supremacist killed him. The president didn't kill him. It's always us. Somebody who shares our skin color. That is the likelihood that something is going to happen. It's going to be somebody that looks just like you. Let's keep going.
Today,
And matter of fact, we're still struggling for a thumbs up. We are at 195 thumbs up. All I'm asking for you guys to do is click that thumbs up. I got a really, really cool video to show y'all here at the end. So please click that thumbs up. Please get us to 300 thumbs up. And y'all can do that right away. Boom. Click it, click it, click it. Thank you.
her son is being held awaiting extradition.
To know the family is to love the family. That family is a part of the St. Louis soul, the soul of St. Louis.
James Clark is a longtime family friend and says the allegations are a major blow to everyone who knows and loves the family. Since the news broke on Tuesday about the murder for hire charges involving Norman and an exotic dancer from Memphis, social media has lit up with messages of support for the family. Norman allegedly arranged the killing of his own nephew, 21-year-old Andre Montgomery, in North St. Louis in March of 2016. Clark says Norman has been involved.
Matter of fact, if y'all want to see a better picture, I forgot I had a better picture of this chick. Let me see if it'll pop up here. Yes, it did. Oh my God. I just thought about something. Ooh, y'all might be mad at me. Y'all click that thumbs up. We're almost at 300 thumbs up. We need 81 more people to click that thumbs up. Please forgive me for saying this. Guys, this is Terica Ellis. This is the stripper from Memphis, Tennessee. With that big, huge tattoo right in the middle of her damn chest. Is this the best? Is this what you get when you go to Memphis, Tennessee? Those are the kind of strippers you get in Memphis, Tennessee? This? Whatever happened to selling the fantasy? Strippers being sexy, them being like your dream girl. Whatever happened to that? I guess that just disappeared. I guess strippers can just look like anything. They look worse than the girl next door. They be having bellies and stomachs and stretch marks and saggy titties and look like they don't work out. They got turkey necks. I'm sorry, but damn. Who is paying in the strip club to see that? I want to know which one of y'all simps in Memphis, Tennessee was paying y'all hard-earned dollars to go throw money at that. Lord have mercy. She was desperate for that $9,000. I know she couldn't have been making no money in the strip club, bitch. She had to have been broke. Come on now. Come on. Come on. Seriously? Let's keep going.
Involved in programs to reduce the violence in St. Louis and has reached out to young people.
Tim had been very involved, mentoring young boys. His life's experience took him to the penitentiary, and he was able to change the trajectory of a lot of young boys' lives by sharing with him his experience.
On the website for the reality show, Norman's bio says he was sentenced to 10 years in prison for armed robbery when he was a teenager. Court records show that Norman took out.
Somebody in the chat said they're not all disgusting. I never said all, and I never say all. I'm never quite that definitive, but we should know, especially us in the AFC, we know we have a hashtag called what? Hashtag not all. It's not all. I was talking about her and her turkey neck and all the type of chicks that look like her, that work in the strip club, that be in there flabby and sick, trying to play a hate on my shit. Well, she can eat a fat dick. Let it be known that's how she made me. Loving how y'all got y'all people crazy in the chat. against all odds.
A $450,000 life insurance policy on his nephew 2 years before he was shot to death. On Wednesday, fans of the show continued posting online messages expressing their love and support for the family.
It's a rally cry for St. Louis to support the family, to support Mama Robbie, and to be bigger than this situation. And the biggest thing, the biggest overture that we can make right now is to show love and support for the family.
Court records show that Tim Norman tried to collect the money on that insurance policy within a week after Andre Montgomery was killed. However, he could not provide some documentation that was required, so our understanding is he was not able to collect that money. Reporting live in Midtown, Ray Preston, News 4.
Here's the next video.
At the time when this happened, the Montgomery family was devastated. That played out in front of thousands on their...
Let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all want to see where he went off on his Instagram post? I have that video if y'all want to see it. But let me know if y'all want to see it. Click that thumbs up also, please. If y'all want to see that video, I will gladly show it to you. But y'all got to take a poll. Let me know if y'all want to see it, because I got a video of him talking a whole bunch of bull crap. Let me know.
Reality show on the Oprah Winfrey Network. Now, some 4 years after it happened in 2016, Miss Robbie, the owner and creator of Sweetie Pies, her son, allegedly set it all up. James Timothy Norman, seen in this mugshot, is now charged with conspiracy in the murder-for-hire death of his nephew, 18-year-old Andre Montgomery. Federal court documents detail the meticulous murder happening all in the midst of the family filming their popular cable TV reality show, Welcome to Sweetie Pies. The show, based off the popular soul food restaurant in St. Louis.
All this stuff is at Sweetie Pies, but we're really excited about our tea, my tea.
Federal investigators say the murder-for-hire starts with Norman obtaining a $450,000 life insurance policy on his nephew back in 2014. Fast forward to March of 2016, federal investigators say Norman had been in contact with Memphis, Tennessee exotic dancer Terica Ellis leading up to the murder, with both arriving in St. Louis at the same time. Court docs show Ellis and Norman used prepaid cell phones to communicate on the day of the murder before locating the 18-year-old. That's where authorities say the gunman found Andre Montgomery in a 3600 block of Natural Bridge Avenue and shot him to death around 8:02 in the evening.
I'm just curious, how did he think that he was going to get away with this in 2020, in 2020? How did this, like, it ain't like he don't watch the news. It ain't like he don't know that they have forensics. It's not even like he's not a known entity. How did he think he was going to get away with this? God, this dude is dumb.
Court docs say Ellis's phone was pinged in the area. Shortly thereafter, the exotic...
Okay, y'all are saying play the video? All right. I guess we got enough votes. We're going to play. I'm going to show y'all that video here in just a moment.
Dancer fled St. Louis back to Memphis, calling Norman in the process. Days later, authorities say Ellis deposited over $9,000 in cash into various bank accounts.
I agree. Somebody said people support the family, not him. He's a douchebag. Hey, thank you for saying that. I understood it, but I'm glad y'all understand that too. So that's good. I'm glad you said that.
Montgomery called in to collect on his nephew life insurance policy he set up. Both Montgomery and Ellis are now federally charged in the conspiracy in the murder for hire. Montgomery was arrested in Jackson, Mississippi, as he was in the process of reopening another Sweetie Pies location.
Woo.
Now, for perspective, this is Norman's deceased brother's only child. Now, we reached out to the lawyers for Miss Robbie to get a statement from her. He told me that she is too distraught to speak at this time and will release a statement whenever she wants to. From live here in Midtown, Darian Henderson, Fox 2 News.
All right. What I'm going to do is, before I show y'all that rant, let me show y'all this quick video real quick. Let me show y'all this.
I drove my mom through the park.
And this is under fair usage. Matter of fact, let me play the fair usage again just to make sure I don't get flagged. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. Fair use, fair use. Let me tell you guys, I want y'all to watch him walking. He looks like one of those ballpark Frank hot dogs. Like if y'all just left it in the sun and it just cooked, like if you left it in like in the sun, if you left it in a window. This dude is swollen. I know I'm not the thinnest guy in the world, but this dude looks unhealthy. Like he just looked like it's like he got this little bitty head and this big old huge Michelin man body. Just look at this video. Y'all tell me what you think. Click that thumbs up. We are only at 252 thumbs up. We need 48 more people to click that thumbs up. Let's go.
To the spot where Andre lost his life, because I had not been there yet. I don't think Mom had been there either. We're still on the same street, basically, as my grandmother's house, Natural Bridge. So you can see Grandma's house right from here.
Uh-huh. Natural Bridge is the main street that goes from one end of the city to the next. Everything happens on Natural Bridge. All the crime, all the fast racing. This is it.
Yeah, that's it.
They say he came out and used the phone.
So he's walking the street that he got his nephew killed on. That's what this is. He is walking the street that he got his nephew killed on and talking about it. Yes, he has woman hips and big, wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube-man arms. Wacky inflatable arm flailing tube-man arms. I couldn't say it twice. But he just looks like he took a bunch of steroids and just quit. Shit.
Oh, so they had to shoot him right here on this porch.
We've lost a lot of family members here on this street. Andre, as of late. And then before Andre, my father. And in between that was Linda's son, Monique's brother, Aaron, who was like my brother. And it's all on this one street, a few blocks from each other. Right across from Grandma's house.
Yeah, that's the sad thing about it.
Since Andre's passing, I haven't gone through this part of the city. And really, I've been avoiding it.
I mean, it's like all up and down the street.
Yeah.
We must stop killing, but there's just signs. Oh, okay, I'm ready to go. I'm getting sick to my stomach just seeing this place.
We get back in the car, I take it 2 lights down the street, just 2 lights, to the spot where my dad got killed.
Somebody walked up right beside him and put the gun right to his head, right there, and killed him in the car. This is the first time I've been.
I'm sorry, guys. And he got them pop out of sailor. Instead of like in his forearms, it's like in his arms up here. It just look weird. He's walking with the woman, and she doesn't realize that he's the one responsible for the goddamn murder for hire plot. He's the one who said, man, walking with the murderer, essentially. That's just effed up.
Been here since.
Sandra said he's kind of thick. He got a dome. Hey, look, I'm just saying he's got like a tank body. Like somebody said he's built like a Buick. I'm sorry. This dude is just a funny looking murderous ass, horrible individual. Let's continue to watch this Sweetie Pie murder for hire plot.
Your dad got killed. I ain't never even came back here.
My mom and dad were crazy in love with each other. They were supposed to get married. She was only 2 months pregnant with me when my dad got killed. So when I drive past the spot, I wonder, how would my life have been different if my father hadn't stopped to get a sandwich that day?
Makes you wonder if maybe he also participated in murder for hire over his own dad, too. I'm just throwing it out there. I wouldn't put it past him.
Some old guys told me that the person that killed my dad was actually sitting inside the car with my dad.
He might have, because he was right there. I looked behind his ear, because when they told me where he was shot at.
Guys, I gotta back that up. I want y'all to look at how just sloppy this dude looks. Look at how sloppy he looks.
If my father hadn't stopped to get a sandwich that day. Some old guys told me that the person that killed my dad was actually sitting inside the car with my dad.
He might have, because he was right there. I looked.
Look Look at that. He's got this little bitty head and these big old tank arms and like this big old nasty water balloon belly and these and like these little cantaloupe boobs. That is just a sloppy boy. Weird looking ass dude.
Behind his ear, because when they told me where he was shot at.
And then he tall. Like he looked like he weighed about 516 pounds.
You went and identified his body?
Said I was thinking the same thing.
And Aaron's body too. I went with them and identified.
Aaron got killed a few blocks up the street.
Yep. Okay, Lord, all these memories.
She's walking with the murderer. Let me show y'all the next video. Let me skip that one. That one's pretty good, but let me skip it though. Let's go to the next video. Fair use.
Mom has sued me. Mom's.
Oh, okay. This video is, and this is why I'm showing this because I think it's relevant. He was being sued for a large amount of money. I don't know if y'all knew that. He was being sued for a large amount of money, and he talks about it right here. So I want you guys to look at this and listen to it, and y'all tell me if this has something to do with why he needed all that money. Listen to this.
Mom has sued me. Mom sued me for $100 million. She's saying I don't have the right to use the name Sweetie Pies.
I think I wasn't really listening. I mean, I heard what he said, but it just didn't seem real.
Well, hold on, sweetie. Hold on, sweet man. Let me back it up. Let me let that play again. I see why they call it Sweetie Pies with all this sweet and low on the screen. But let's listen at this again.
Mom has sued me. Mom sued me for $100 million.
Suing him for $100 million, according to what he says.
She's saying I don't have the right to use the name Sweetie Pies.
I think I wasn't really listening. I mean, I heard what he said, but it just didn't seem real.
I'm like, Mom, I asked, I said, Mom, I have not earned the right to use the name Sweetie Pies. After all this stuff, I ain't earned that right.
And yeah, I think that's a very good point, because I don't think that we would be where we are as a company today if you hadn't have kept pushing forward.
The way I look at it, man, we all got a lot of time in this Sweetie Pies thing, man. You know, and then for me to have to go to court and have a judge decide if I've earned the right or I got the right to use the name Sweetie Pies.
I've always thought, and I think this is where everybody else comes from, what's his is hers and what's hers is his.
What is he talking about? Huh? I don't know what he talking about. His is hers and hers is his. Guys, I don't know what he's talking about. Oh, man. I can imagine what my comment section gonna look like tomorrow.
So, why?
Let's keep going.
Why wouldn't he use the name?
My question is, if Linda tried to open a restaurant, would she sue her? Or if Jan tried to open a restaurant, would she sue her?
Robbie.
Remember, guys, don't get mad at my words. Get mad at what the Michelin Man did to his own nephew. Let's not forget that. Y'all always quick to try to point the finger at me and what I say and my jokes. They're just jokes. Like, y'all are too goddamn sensitive, man, in 2020. We need to go back to the 80s and the 90s, man, when y'all had thicker skin. I liked America back then, when we could make a damn joke and be funny. My Lord. Come on, man.
He's like the big bad wolf. She huffs and she puffs, but nobody really ever expects for her to actually blow the house down.
I'm so upset with this situation, man. I ain't want to. It's hard to talk about, man, because, man, I've been going hard at this, man, for years.
Yeah, I think it's the fact that you're doing stuff outside the box. She can't technically keep her hand on it is what scares her.
If she don't want me to keep on open Sweetie Pies, all right, let me know that. You ain't got to sue me, man. On a personal level, yeah, I'm worried. I'm upset, I'm mad, I'm angry, I'm sad, all the above, because I'm getting sued by my mama. On a business level, ain't nothing to worry about. Everybody's still gonna get paid. I'm still gonna keep everybody working. I'm gonna keep my restaurants running. Now, the question is, are they gonna be called Sweetie Pies or not? What you think, man?
And if he's supposedly worth all this money, if he's the person getting all of this rolling, it don't seem like it'd be too much to just change the name. Get you your own name at this point. And call it Norman's Pies or something. That actually kind of has a little bit of a ring to it, don't it? Norman's Pies. If he was as instrumental as Sweetness says right here, if he was really that relevant, why not just change it to Norman's? Doesn't Norman's sound like a good name for a restaurant, for a franchise, for a business, or am I just full of it right now? Y'all tell me what you think. It don't seem like it's that big of a deal. Just change your name. Your mama clearly didn't want you to have a name for a reason. It's her name. She owns it. And if your own mother didn't want to give you the name, then I would have to think that you probably did something wrong, probably are a bad judge of character. She didn't want you dragging her business down. Dragging her business down like he is right now. Am I right? Hello? Murder for hire, and now it is associated with his mother's name. That sucks. So she was absolutely right. Y'all tell me what you think. We got a few new people in the building. Y'all click that thumbs up. Let's try to get to 350 thumbs up. We only need a couple people to do it. Tell me, am I lying? Buick's Bakery. Oh my goodness. Wow. But think about that. She's right, because he actually does messed up crap like getting his own nephew killed for a life insurance policy that he was making payments on. So clearly said that's why she sued him. Oh, okay. Then just change the name. He should have did that.
To be quite honest, Tim, I mean, I understand that's something that's very big as far as you and Robbie go. Obviously, it's become a lawsuit about it. But that's not my biggest concern with all of this. My biggest concern is making sure that...
Keyshawn is saying that he was tricking off his money at the strip club. And he was embezzling money from the business. Oh. Keyshawn said that he was tricking off his money in the strip club, which is why he was broke, and he was embezzling money from the business Sweetie Pies. Damn. Yeah, if I was the mom, I would have cut his fat ass off too. What they say? Cut the fat? She should have cut the fat. Shout out to mom. Can y'all give a shout out to mom? Give a shout out to Sweetie Pies. She don't deserve her name to be ruined behind her stupid ass son making stupid ass choices, getting his own nephew killed over a couple of dollars. I'm sorry, but $400,000 is not worth killing your own lineage, your own nephew. It's not worth killing anybody over and going to jail for life over, because you're not going to get out of jail and you'll never see that money. So what did you do it for, stupid ass?
Us as a family remain a family. And I felt for a while that that's changing. I felt for a while that we aren't the family that we used to be, as far as sticking together on different things. Holidays ain't the same no more. So,
man, Michelle just called me, man. She said everybody's worried about this lawsuit thing. I mean, she got all the workers coming left and right, wondering if all the TJs is gonna be shut down, if, Lindbergh, Natural Breeze, the one out here.
Is it a possibility? I mean, can the restaurants get shut down while the lawsuit is in motion, or is this something that we don't have?
Yes, it can.
Have to worry about right now?
I mean, that's the thing. It's something we don't have to worry about right now, man. But people don't understand this lawsuit can go on for 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
Right. So what's your plan of action?
I feel like I need to go back to St. Louis and talk to them. I mean, I can talk to the ones here because we're here with them, but no matter what, if it's Sweet Pies or if it's Sweet Joe's, I'm gonna keep on opening these restaurants. I'm gonna stay in business. If you think about it, man, there is not one African-American or soul food franchise. I think it could be done, and I think we were on the path to doing it. For me, it's just forward progress, I just need to know if my forward progress is gonna be with Sweet Pies and not with Sweet Pies. A lawsuit ain't gonna stop me.
Clearly it did, because you got your nephew killed. Now, here's the video that I want to show you guys. I'm going to make this really big on the screen so y'all can see that this rant that he went off on. And I want y'all to see how crazy this dude is, okay? So, here we go. I'm going to have to pause it just for a moment because it's going to be a little bit loud. So, hold on a moment.
You know, I would never say anything.
All right, here we go. I was able to find the original audio because, you know, whenever people get these Instagram videos, they like to take them and put their name on them and their logo and all this other bull crap on there. So, here's what we're going to do. I believe this is the original video. So, let me cut this down just a little bit so you guys can see it a little bit better. Let me cut this top by a little bit. Let's make this a little bit bigger on the screen. Even though he's a big old boy, let's make this big on the screen. So this is what you guys came to see. Y'all click that thumbs up. We're almost at our goal, so if y'all would, please click that thumbs up, okay? Here we go. Here's the video.
You know, I would never say anything disrespectful about my son's mother, out of respect for my son, and I want him to grow up and see that. But now you put me in a position where I got to defend myself because you got my 80-year-old mother out here on the internet going back and forth, and you keep on calling the house, screaming at her, asking her why she's speaking the truth. Well, I got to speak the truth myself, you know. And you want to paint me out to be a deadbeat dad. Why don't you tell people how the last time I picked my son up, I had him for an hour and a half. And you started blowing me up to bring him back because he had to do his homework and take a bath. And as I get to the house, I take him out of his car seat. He run to you. You stand in the garage. He runs into you. I'm bent over in the car. I'm getting his Happy Meal and his toys I bought him in his backpack. You let the garage down on me, and the police come out of the backyard. You had the police waiting on me in the backyard when I was coming to drop my baby off. You set me up. You don't do that to no black man. You don't do that to no man, especially a man that spent half his life, spent 10.5 years in prison. There's nothing I will ever.
Oh, so he just confirmed it. Ooh. Girl. Oh my goodness, he confirmed it. Keyshawn, you were right. Y'all click that thumbs up. We need 400 thumbs up. Listen to this again. He said a man who just did 10 years in prison. Listen again. Wow.
And the police come out of the backyard. You had the police waiting on me in the backyard when I was coming to drop my baby off. You set me up. You don't do that to no black man. You don't do that to no man, especially a man that spent half his life, spent 10.5 years in prison.
He's right. He said half your life. That's exactly right, dummy. That's about half of your life. Listen again.
Backyard when I was coming to drop my baby off. You set me up. You don't do that to no black man. You don't do that to no man, especially a man that spent half his life, spent 10.5 years in prison. Backyard when I was coming to drop my baby off. You set me up. You don't do that to no black man. You don't do that to no man, especially a man that spent half his life, spent 10.5 years in prison.
You said, what did he confirm? He just confirmed that he did 10 years in prison. And if you did 10 years in prison, that means you did something really, really jacked up. He did 10 years in prison for robbery, if you guys did not know. Whatever robbery he did must have been pretty bad if you got 10 years.
As I bought him in his backpack, you let the garage down on me, and the police come out of the backyard. You had the police waiting on me in the backyard when I was coming to drop my baby off. You set me up. You don't do that to no black man. You don't do that to no man, especially a man that spent half his life, spent 10.5 years in prison. There's nothing there's nothing you can do to make me ever forgive you for that. There's nothing you can do to explain or justify that. You had the police waiting for me in the backyard. You set me up when I was coming with my baby from the playground. I will never come to that house again, ever. So you're not going to handle me and tell me to bring my son's toys over there. And most of the time, all the stuff he got in the house, I got anyway. He don't even know I got him all that stuff.
Somebody in the chat is saying it was armed robbery. Wow. Okay. So armed robbery. Let's go with that. That sounds about right for 10 years. That sounds about right. Let's keep going.
Tell me to bring my son's toys over there. And most of the time, all the stuff he got in the house, I got anyway. He don't even know I got him all that stuff.
And as far as child support, as far as me being a deadbeat, why don't you give me my change? Talking about a court order. Talking about a court order. Why don't you tell everybody how when we was going to court, you was threatening to tell all about me and my mama business about the different things we own and this bank account they here. And this.
He seemed too soft. I'm sorry. In my humble opinion, this dude seems like he was too soft to have done 10 years in jail. He really does. He seems like a big, tall, heavy-ass cupcake. In my opinion. I'm just throwing it out there.
When we was going to court, you was threatening to tell all about me and my mama business about the different things we own and this bank account they here and this bank account there. After the IRS and already came and got us for $500,000. After the IRS already on me. Why don't you tell them how you threaten to tell the feds this and that? Tell people that.
No, actually, this video is related. This video is related because it shows him his attitude. He also confirms that he did 10 years in jail. It also shows that he could have potentially have been mentally jacked up, that he could have done something like this. But you got to listen to the whole thing and then let me know if you agree. But I think that this is actually related. So I'm going to tell you this. That's why all these other people who have talked about this story included this video. Okay? So I just thought I'd let y'all know that. Somebody said he got raped while he was in prison. I bet you he did. I bet you he did.
Me. Why don't you tell them how you threaten to tell the feds this and that? Tell people that. And why don't you give me my change as far as child support is concerned? Why don't you say that 5-bedroom, 5-bath house with the waterfall in the back and the swimming pool and the big jacuzzi? Why don't you say that? Give me my change. Why don't you say that big boy BMW you got?
And I want y'all to listen. He's talking about all of the money that he wants back. He's talking about, why don't you give me this, give me that. All he's talking about is money. That's why I'm showing you guys this. Keep in mind, he got his nephew killed over what? Life insurance policy money. Yes, this is absolutely related.
Already came and got us for $500,000. After the IRS already on me. Why don't you tell them how you threaten to tell the feds this and that? Tell people that. And why don't you give me my change as far as child support is concerned? Why don't you say that 5-bedroom, 5-bath house with the waterfall in the back and the swimming pool and the big jacuzzi? Why don't you say that? Give me my change. Why don't you say that big boy BMW you got that I put you in after you didn't want the Porsche no more, after you didn't want the BMW before that, and go back and get that Chrysler Sebring you were driving when I got you. Give me my change from all them $10,000 one-of-one bags and Versace chains and all them dresses that you didn't know nothing about, and them Louboutins. Give me my change from my furniture that you still sleeping on. Did you buy new sheets? Huh? All them TVs and everything in the house? Why don't you give me my change? Because I ain't working no more. I'm not on TV. I don't have an image to protect. I'm not getting a TV check. I don't have to answer the OWN. OWN can't call me no more. I'm like, Tim, don't say this, Tim. Be nice because, Tim, we got to protect the brand. It's good for the...
Did he just say that he's not on TV anymore and he can't make any money? Did y'all just hear that? Who was it in the chat that said this video wasn't relevant? Did somebody really just say that in the chat? You still think it's not relevant? Listen again.
$1,000 one-of-one bags and Versace chains and all them dresses that you didn't know nothing about, and them Louboutins. Give me my change from my furniture that you still sleeping on. Did you buy new sheets? Huh? All them TVs and everything in the house? Why don't you give me my change? Because I ain't working no more. I'm not on TV. I don't have an image to protect. I'm not getting a TV check. I don't have to answer the OWN. OWN can't call me no more. I'm like, Tim, don't say this, Tim. Be nice because, Tim, we got to protect the brand. It's good for the show. I ain't got to protect the check no more. I ain't got that no more. So I ain't got it. The people probably going to say I owe you about 400 or so. I ain't got it. Why don't you say some of that stuff and give me my change? Why don't you do that? And as far as me being abusive, why don't you tell the people how you used to come up? Why don't you tell the people to call down to the marquee and ask,
somebody in the chat said, what's really related to the story is that he molested the same nephew that he got killed. Now, that is something that somebody in the chat said. I don't know if that's true or not. Can anybody else in the chat confirm if that's something that happened? Have y'all heard of that too? I'm not going to say or accuse him of doing that, but somebody in the chat said he molested the same nephew that he got killed. What do y'all think about that? Please post your thoughts in the chat. Let me know if y'all think that's true or not, or have you heard those rumors? So we're going to call that a rumor for now. I don't know if that's true.
You said some of that stuff and give me my change. Why don't you do that? And as far as me being abusive, why don't you tell the people how you used to come up? Why don't you tell the people to call down to the marquee and ask Andre and Melanie how they used to put you out of the club when you come in there and try to start fights with me? How they have to call the police on you and you outside of the parking lot kicking my car? Huh? Why don't you tell them how I used to call people over to the house, call my security over there, you taking hammers to my car? You know, I can't leave. You coming to the restaurant messing with me. Why don't you tell them how we was in Beverly Hills with the whole family out here with all these white folks and you drunk in the lobby. They got to pull you up off of me. You taking my money out of my bags and throwing my money all over the lobby. They got to go to your mother's room and get your mother to come stop you. And I'm abusive. Why don't you tell that? Why don't you tell all that? And why don't you tell them how the reason I left you in the first place was because you decided to sleep with the help. You slept with the cameraman. Why don't you tell them that? On in Pilgrim, we had to get a whole new TV crew around season 3 because you slept with the cameraman. Shout
God, dog.
out to Jose. I ain't got no ill feelings towards you, bro.
She said she slept with the cameraman? God, dog. You said, do I believe everything in your chat? Denise, yes, I believe everything that you guys write in my chat until I find out that it's not true, and then I don't believe nothing that you say. That's the way it works, right? Everybody's entitled to an opinion. If you put out some information out there that we can research and find out whether it's true or not, then if I find out that you're lying, then we don't believe you anymore. It's very simple. That's why I always take everything with a grain of salt, and that's also why I said allegedly. Come on, man. Where are y'all critical thinking skills? Come on. I said somebody in the chat said, and I repeated what they said, and I said I don't know if that's true or not. But that's what the chat is saying, and I said, if you guys have heard that story, post it in the chat and tell me if y'all heard the same thing. I'm going to try to be a good boy today. But some of y'all are really testing my patience. Let's keep going.
She needed some attention, you gave her that, but you was with the boss when you slept with the help. So that's why I left in the first place, and I didn't turn back. And every time we didn't want to film with you, you threatened to take my son, you would let my son film. That's the only reason you was still on the show. And my mama forgave you. My mama forgave you because she loved that baby. So I stayed quiet, and they let you film, because I was trying to be a good dude. You know, my mama forgave you, Monique and everybody else forgave you. I ain't never forgive you. Why don't you tell them how you would never, my son was never even on the last episode, last season of the show at all. Money could have went towards his college fund. They want to bring him to LA. He can't come unless you come. He can't come to Houston unless you come. We got a family trip down to Orlando. You come on down to Orlando. You want to let my son film with me. Why don't you tell them that? Monique can't bring him to see me. My mama can't bring him to see me. Charles can't bring him to see me. I begged you for years to see my son. I begged you. I've been patient all this time, hoping you get over it. I was happy you had a new guy. I pray you stop thinking about my ass. But you got a new guy and you still calling me, crying, snotty nose. The night before your wedding, you called me crying, snotty nose. I told you out there and married that Duke, he's a good guy. I ain't never heard nothing bad about that man, so I ain't said a word.
Why do people go live and say all of this stuff? Damn.
About him being around my son. Ain't not one person told me nothing bad about that dude. He's supposed to be a good dude. So I've been quiet, trying to give you your time. But now you want to take him from my mama? And my family can't see him either? You want to put me out to the world to be a bad guy? And people ask why Monique ain't dealing. Where's Monique? How come Monique don't stop Monique don't fuck with you no more. You want to run around town act like you a business person? Why don't you tell everybody I started that business? I put up all the money, got the paperwork done. That business is for Monique. And you took half the money. You took half the money from Monique and you have Monique doing all the work.
See, he's still talking about money. My email address is right here, theafcmatters@gmail.com. theafcmatters@gmail.com. If y'all need that email address, somebody said he needs to take several seats. Damn.
And then you took the money and went to open the gym for your guy. Well, this is cool. No problem with that.
Said it was all over the blogs about the girl and the cameraman. Sheesh. This is a real soap opera with murder involved. God, dog.
You know what I'm saying? Monique just separated herself. You know what I'm saying? We separated and got Monique a whole new business. She good. Why don't you tell the people how every time Monique had a new guy, somebody she was talking to, you creep behind her back and deal with the new guy she talking to. That's why Monique don't deal with you. Why don't you run tell all that? Huh? You don't want to tell all that, do you?
Now again, just so you guys know, this is the video of him. Just so you guys know, this is the video of him going off on his baby mama, not only behind money, behind infidelity or whatever the case is, but I think this also points to a potential motive of him getting to a boiling point of what he was getting desperate to do for money. Y'all listen to it without me interrupting it and let me know what y'all think.
You know, I would never say anything disrespectful about my son's mother, out of respect for my son, and I want him to grow up and see that. But now you put me in a position where I got to defend myself because you got my 80-year-old mother I heard on the internet going back and forth, and you keep on calling the house, screaming at her, asking her why she's speaking the truth. Well, I got to speak the truth myself, you know. And you want to pay me out to be a deadbeat dad? Why don't you tell people how the last time I picked my son up, I had him for an hour and a half. And you started blowing me up to bring him back because he had to do his homework and take a bath. And as I get to the house, I take him out of his car seat. He run to you. You stand in the garage. He runs into you. I'm bent over in the car. I'm getting his Happy Meal and his toys I bought him in his backpack. You let the garage down on me, and the police come out of the backyard. You had the police waiting on me in the backyard when I was coming to drop my baby off. You set me up. You don't do that to no black man. You don't do that to no man, especially a man that spent half his life, spent 10.5 years in prison. There's nothing there's nothing you can do to make me ever forgive you for that. There's nothing you can do to explain or justify that. You had the police waiting for me in the backyard. You set me up when I was coming with my baby from the playground. I will never come to that house again, ever. So you're not going to handle me and tell me to bring my son's toys over there. And most of the time, all the stuff he got in the house, I got anyway. He don't even know I got him all that stuff. And as far as child support, as far as me being a deadbeat, why don't you give me my change? Talk about a court order. Talking about a court order. Why don't you tell everybody how when we was going to court, you was threatening to tell all about me and my mama business about the different things we own and this bank account there here and this bank account there. After the IRS and already came and got us for $500,000. After the IRS already on me. Why don't you tell them how you threaten to tell the feds this and that? Tell people that. And why don't you give me my change as far as child support is concerned? Why don't you say that 5-bedroom, 5-bath house with the waterfall in the back and the swimming pool and the big jacuzzi? Why don't you say that, give me my change? Why don't you say that big boy Beamer, your BMW you got, that I put you in after you didn't want the Porsche no more, after you didn't want the BMW before that, and go back and get that Chrysler Sebring you were driving when I got you. Give me my change. From all them $10,000 one-of-one bags and Versace chains and all them dresses that you didn't know nothing about, and them Louboutins. Give me my change from my furniture that you still sleeping on. Did you buy new sheets? Huh? All them TVs and everything in the house? Why don't you give me my change? Because I ain't working no more. I'm not on TV. I don't have an image to protect. I'm not getting a TV check. I don't have to answer the OWN. OWN can't call me no more. I'm like, Tim, don't say this, Tim. Be nice because, Tim, we got to protect the brand. It's good for the show. I ain't got to protect the check no more. I ain't got that no more. So I ain't got it.
the people probably gonna say I owe you about 400 or so. I ain't got it. Why don't you sell some of that stuff and give me my change? Why don't you do that? And as far as me being abusive, why don't you tell the people how you used to come up? Why don't you tell the people to call down to the marquee and ask Andre and Melanie how they used to put you out of the club when you come in there and try to start fights with me? How they have to call the police on you when you outside on the parking lot kicking my car? Huh? Why don't you tell them how I used to call people over to the house, call my security over there, you taking hammers to my car? You know, I can't leave. You coming to the restaurant messing with me. Why don't you tell them how we was in Beverly Hills with the whole family out here with all these white folks and you drunk in the lobby. They got to pull you up off of me. You taking my money out of my bags and throwing my money all over the lobby. They got to go to your mother's room and get your mother to come stop you. And I'm abusive. Why don't you tell that? Why don't you tell all that? And why don't you tell them how the reason I left you in the first place was because you decided to sleep with the help. You slept with the cameraman. Why don't you tell them that? On in Pilgrim, we had to get a whole new TV crew around season 3 because you slept with the cameraman. Shout out to Jose. I ain't got no ill feelings towards you, bro. She needed some attention. You gave her that. But you was with the boss when you slept with the help. So that's why I left in the first place. And I didn't turn back. And every time we didn't want to film with you, you threatened to take my son. You would let my son film. That's the only reason you was still on the show. And my mama forgave you. My mama forgave you because she loved that baby. So I stayed quiet, and they let you film, because I was trying to be a good dude. Even though my mama forgave you, Monique and everybody else forgave you. I ain't never forgive you. Why don't you tell them how you were never, my son was never even on the last episode, last season of the show at all. Money could have went towards his college fund. They want to bring him to L.A. He can't come unless you come. He can't come to Houston unless you come. We got a family trip down to Orlando. You come on down to Orlando. You wouldn't let my son film with me. Why don't you tell them that? Monique can't bring him to see me. My mama can't bring him to see me. Charles can't bring him to see me. I begged you for years to see my son. I begged you. I've been patient all this time, hoping you get over it. I was happy you had a new guy. I pray you stop thinking about my ass. But you got a new guy and you still calling me, crying, snotty nose. The night before your wedding, you called me crying, snotty nose. I told you to go out there and marry that dude. He's a good guy. I ain't never heard nothing bad about that man, so I ain't said a word about him being around my son. Ain't not one person told me nothing bad about that dude. He's supposed to be a good dude. So I've been quiet, trying to give you your time. But now you want to take him from my mama, and my family can't see him either? You want to put me out to the world to be a bad guy? And people ask why Monique ain't dealing. Where's Monique? How come Monique don't stop Monique don't fuck with you no more? You want to run around town act like you a business person? Why don't you tell everybody I started that business? I put up all the money and got the paperwork done. That business is for Monique. And you took half the money. You took half the money from Monique and you had Monique doing all the work. And then you took the money and went to open the gym for your guy. But this is cool. No problem with that. You know what I'm saying? Monique just separated herself. You know what I'm saying? We separated and got Monique a whole new business. She good. Why don't you tell the people how every time Monique had a new guy, somebody she was talking to, you creep behind her back and deal with the new guy she talking to. That's why Monique don't deal with you. Why don't you run tell all that? Huh? You don't want to tell all that, do you? You want to do the first thing a lot of women do nowadays when they upset. They want to say a guy's abusive. Man, man.
Now, he talked all that crap, but I want you guys to remember, this is the stripper from Memphis, Tennessee, that he linked up with to have her and other people murder his own nephew for a life insurance policy that Michelin Man, aka Mr. James Timothy Norman, was going to cash out on, which he was the sole beneficiary on his nephew, not his son. That's cold, man. Like, what did his nephew do that was so wrong? His nephew, which is this guy right here, that's Mr. Montgomery, just graduated at 18 years old. What did he do so wrong to deserve being murdered over a little bit of money? Now, this girl right here, which is the Terica chick, she has no morals, period. She's a stripper. I don't expect much out of her. She does a lot of strange things for some change. She's out of shape. She got tattoos all over the place. Her hair is a damn mess. She looks like a freaking idiot. She looks unattractive. I could imagine that if she's desperate enough to say, you know what, I'm going to go to any old strip club that'll take me in Memphis, Tennessee, right? If they'll take me, then I'll do what I got to do to get on. And I can guarantee you that if she's willing to kill somebody over $9,000 measly dollars, which is nothing, even if you're broke, it's still nothing. If she's willing to kill somebody over $9,000, I can guarantee you that she was probably doing a whole lot of strange things in that club, before the club, during the club, and after the club. What a nasty broad. What a nasty, disgusting, stinky broad. Let me get this off my screen while I wrap this story up. Here's the moral of the story. Here's my final take on this whole thing. No matter what this dude was going through, or whatever the case is, here's what I believe. I know that I've had conversations with people talking about criminals can be reformed. They can get better. Not all of them that get out of prison are just throwaways. And I do agree with that. Because I've had some people that I know in my personal life, that I know personally, that when they got out of prison, they actually turned their life around. They worked jobs. They worked hard. They became fathers and husbands. And they're out there doing the damn thing. And shout out to them. I believe that if you get out of prison for whatever it is that you've done wrong, that it is your obligation to not only yourself, but to your children and to society to turn your life around. Do a complete 180 and do better. I think your mom knew that you weren't shit, Mr. James Timothy Norman. I think that she was right to tell you to stop using her name. And guys, I think this is clear as day evidence as to why she asked him to stop using her name. Because he's a dummy, he makes bad choices, and she knew that it wasn't worth risking her life's work on his bad choices. I'm going to say that again. It was not worth her life's work to gamble on that thug. Matter of fact, can y'all put this hashtag in the chat? This is an AFC hashtag, and that hashtag goes like this. When you gamble on a thug, you lose. Mom gambled on this thug, and she lost. I hope that Sweetie Pies can rebuild her reputation, rebuild her name, and separate herself from this trash known as James Timothy Norman, and also separate herself from this trash known as Memphis, Tennessee's most ratchet, murderous stripper, Terica, right? Yes? They have to separate themselves from this, and they got a whole lot of work to do, but guess what? That can never, ever bring this life back. This individual, Andre Montgomery, did not deserve what he got. He just graduated, and that man had potential to grow up and become something great. Guess what he was not doing? Andre Montgomery was not out robbing people at 18 years old. He was actually graduating at 18 years old, trying to become something great in life at 18 years old. Everybody understand? His life was robbed because of this idiot right here. I believe that whatever he gets charged with, this woman also needs to be charged with the same thing, as well as any accomplices that might have been involved with this as well. If somebody saw something and chose to not say something, then they should be charged as well. We need to start putting a harsh stance towards criminals and stop black people in their tracks from hurting other black people. Isn't that something? When we talk about Black Lives Matter, I agree. I think that they do. I absolutely believe that Black Lives Matter. If you believe Black Lives Matter, post it in the chat. And I think, personally, that Black lives should start to matter to black people first. I don't understand why that's so controversial for me to say that. I think it's a very simple concept. And again, I hope that they throw the book at all of these idiots involved in this case especially those two, since they are the faces, the fat faces of this case. I just realized how fat that girl is. God dog, I hope she wasn't really, I hope she was like maybe a bouncer in the strip club. Maybe she was the house mom or something. She couldn't have been in the club stripping. She's just not attractive at all. This young man deserved a chance to grow up and become something great. And for that, I want to say, Andre Montgomery, RIP, sir. To Sweetie Pies, thank all of you guys who are fans of Sweetie Pies. Thank all of you guys who are listening. And again, to, you see, Andre LaJuan Montgomery, RIP. To the mom, to Sweetie Pies, and to her business, and to her name. I hope that she can recover and get back on track and just really put this behind her, because they need to go far, far behind her, okay? This is your boy DJ Just Jay. We're the AFC, where we advocate for children first, but we also advocate for people doing the right thing. And we hope that we'll get justice for this very, very soon. All right? We'll see you guys on the next stream. Please make sure you like, share, and